glad I haven't gotten sued over that. Hello, welcome back, internet, to what did I call this? Pixel lore,
Pixel lore.
Pixel Book Club reviews. I'm Pixel. That's the name that says right there. This is Landry, and we are here to talk about a Game of Thrones. The next four chapters, which is Bran's second chapter, Tyrion's first, Jon's second, Daenerys' second. Um, It's been a little bit. Been a little bit. Life got in the way a little bit. It happens.
Yes, a little bit.
It
It's a
happens to me too.
crazy, mixed up world we live in.
I know. I know.
But it's been really interesting revisiting these chapters because I'm so immersed in Clash of Kings from working on the graphic novel. I wish because I was my name was in I'm sure I've mentioned this on our show here before, but my name was in the hat for doing the comics adaptation of this book, but I didn't get that one, and so they came back to me when Clash of Kings came up. Um, and so I never turned back to this book, and I never read it the same way. So reading it now, um, it lands so different. Like,
Uh, like Bran in this chapter.
well, it's easy to forget just because I spent so much time with Bran, slowly getting into the Raven mode of Bran. Going back to this is the Bran who's going to leave with them. This is the Bran who's got a horse. This is the Bran who is,
He's excited.
climb. He climbs everywhere. And I forgot how much I didn't see it coming. The shove. I did not see. Spoiler alert to anyone who's never heard of Game of Thrones before. There's a boy in this named Bran who loves to climb and falls badly.
Yes.
Um, I forgot how this is the first taste I feel like of this world is not safe. Is that push that this is something different at the time around when I first read this around 2004 or whatever, or 2003 when I first read this book. um this was so shocking, this shove, let alone who was doing it and why. Do you have any but before I get to that, do you have any thoughts you want to share about this before I ramble us to death here?
No. I love the little perspective that we have of Bran. I think George really he must have like taken a bite out of a when you take like a Hershey's bar and they have those little pieces that you can break off, but you go ahead and you're like, I just want a bowl bite, and you bite a bunch, then you have a sugar high. That's how I imagine he wrote these chapters at the beginning, because he's talking about, oh, I'm climbing, I'm hopping gargoyle to gargoyle. Oh,
Yeah.
look at me. Uh
Ah.
You're not my son, Ned told Bran when they fetched him down. You're a squirrel. So be it. If you must climb, then climb, but try not to let your mother see.
there's an
It's great. It's fun. You need a
there's an
little
interesting
fun.
bit that you could almost take as a precursor. When he got out from under it and scrambled up near the sky, Bran could see all of Winterfell in a glance. He liked the way it looked, spread out beneath him, only birds wheeling over his head. There's a little bit of a precursor here to the fact that he's going to go all three-eyed raven. That he does still climb later. It's just a different sort of climbing, right?
That he'll be
Um,
doing.
yes. Um, I have an interesting take on. I always thought that the shoving here. I'm going to go all the way to the end of this chapter. Bran's fingers started to slip. He grabbed a ledge with his other hand. Fingernails dug into unyielding stone. The man reached down. Take my hand, he said, before you fall. The man yanked him up the ledge. What are you doing? The woman demanded. The man ignored her. How old are you, boy? 7, Bran said, shaking with relief. The man looked over at the woman. The things I do for love, he said with loathing. He gave Bran a shove. I feel like there's two things that kind of happened there, because Martin really doesn't write pure. Typically, I think his characters do loathsome things, but there's always a little bit of that yin yang kind of at play. There's a little bit. I don't think the implication is Jamie. Well, the implication I always got that Jamie's pushing him was an impulsive act. The first act is also impulsive to grab him, but he could have just let him fall there, and then he would have never been the one to push him. He just fell. But he grabbed him and pulled him up first, and I feel like that itself was a natural reflex. I don't think that is artifice. I think that's he grabs this boy to stop him from falling, and then realizes the situation and reverses pushing. That was always my read on it. Now, mileage may vary.
I mean, I see the loathing towards because Cersei's like, "What are you doing?" Because she just wanted the boy to fall because she's crazy. She's insanely evil. She is mustache twirling villain here, and I mean it in the best way possible. She's let that kid die, please. Um, and he goes ahead and he does the good thing first, but
Yeah.
then recognizes what she wants and pushes. And that
And
doesn't yeah, go ahead.
the bit it says, what does it say in his voice? The comment about he said with loathing. He he followed. He went along with it. He did it. He took the cue, but there's something in him in there, that is not on board with it, even though he's the one doing it. Though
Yeah.
interesting, I remember later there's a bit of an inversion where she's basically saying, "I never told you to push him. He was a child. We could have convinced him."
Yeah, that's what she wanted to do when she said, "What are you doing about saving the child?" Sure.
Mm,
Sure.
complex.
Let's talk
Um,
about let's talk about the only Lannister I actually like. Uh
the
cuz
biggest
he's
monster of them all.
the biggest monster of them all in the smallest of forms. No. Um yes, it's Tyrion's first chapter. Um
Really sets a tone for him.
I know. I just love it. There is no voice that I appreciate more than Tyrion's. Like I'm on a Dance of Dragons with Roy Detroit, and then I'm going back in here, and I can hear that. I can hear it. Oh, down here. No. uh
Tyrion
and
Lannister reached up and slapped his nephew hard across the face. And no, the show did a wonderful job. They changed details, but this bit, the boy's cheeks began to redden. "One word," Tyrion said, "and I will hit you again." "I'm going to tell my mother," Joffrey exclaimed. Tyrion hit him again.
I love it. He's oh, you tell
"You'll
him.
tell your mother, but first you'll get yourself to Lord and Lady Stark, and you'll fall to your knees in front of them, and you'll tell them how very sorry you are." Yeah, best advice. I mean, he's the only one giving this kid a proper education. Is a funny thing.
And
Repeatedly, he actually does.
yeah, yep, he does the right thing. If Joffrey just had a little bit of a firmer hand. um, and then we have the Hound here a little bit. Um, I like that they let us know that the other two children aren't just spawn of Satan.
Yeah, no, they're just kids.
It's
They're
just
very normal
kids.
kids.
Priscilla and Tom, and they're the good. They're the good.
Particularly Tommen. I mean, nothing against Marcella either, but she's fine. Like, Marcella gave a happy gasp, and Tommen smiled nervously. They're good kids. They're innocent.
They are. I just got to Jamie's line. There are times when you give me cause to wonder whose side you are on. And Tyrion's mouthful of breaded fish. He took a swallow of strong black beer to wash it all down, and grinned up wolfishly at Jamie. "Why, Jamie, my sweet brother," he said, "you wound me. You know how much I love my family." Yeah, no,
The thing is, he really does everything for his family
he does so
repeatedly.
much, and they don't
Um,
appreciate him at all.
so John's chapter is also a banger here. And this gets something we've talked about before. The difference between Lady Stark in the book and the show.
God.
He goes to visit Bran in his coma and is just the most hateful presence of this woman exhibits like the most just exudes hatred for him. He's bearing in mind he's a 15-year-old in this book.
Here's just a slight thing because finally she blinked. What are you, and there's emphasis on the you, doing
Hmm.
here? She asked in a voice strangely flat and emotionless. You can't say you flat and emotionless.
Fair point. What are you
What she
doing
said?
here?
What are you doing here? No. Came to see Bran, say goodbye. You said it. No, go away. Please. Told you to leave. Don't want him here. And then she threatens to call the guards, and he's saying, go ahead, call him. Ah, can't stop me from seeing him. He says his words, and then what's that line? Want him to stay here with me. She blames it, and he tries to be comforting, saying that it's not your fault.
Right?
And she's like, I
He
don't believe
extends
that's
to
your fault.
her. Does it. He has empathy for her.
Yep. And then what is it? It says goodbye. He was at the door when she called out to him. John, she said. He should have kept going, but she never called him by his name before. He turned back to find her looking at his face as if she were seeing it for the first time. Yes, he said. It should have been you. Jeez!
Oh, she's the
Jeez!
worst. She is
God!
awful.
Wicked!
She is
Holy crap!
awful. And you cannot square that circle with the TV version, who is a very different character. Um,
And then
ooh,
Needle.
man, Needle's great. Love
Yeah,
Needle.
gives Needle to Arya. That's a nice little fare thee well. Fare thee well. Then we get to Daenerys in her wedding, and she gets her dragon eggs, and you have Viserys sitting down towards the bottom. He's like, "I'm the king. I should be up to the Thomas." God, I hate him so much. Hate him so much.
You woke the dragon. You woke the dragon. You woke the dragon.
But there is a nice bit here that I was thinking when I read it like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I can't remember. Um, tell Khal Drogo he's giving me the win because Khal Drogo has had his bridal gift brought out for her, and it's this beautiful horse. She loves the horse. She gets on it. She's scared, but she's scared in a way that excites her. And she's like, for the first time that we've seen in any of these chapters, and I know she's only had one other one, but
Hmm.
she seems actually happy about something for a brief moment. And then, yeah, her night with
And then
Frodo.
things happen.
Things happen. We don't need to go into those details. We'll leave it there.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it's
Sorry, George. We're not going to
it's
talk
it's
about that.
it's a lot of it's a very very intense chapter that does not how do I put it? It does not prepare you for what George R. R. Martin does very well, and we see it multiple times in these chapters. Is he gives you what feels like a banal, everything's going rather banal, and then the intensity just hits. We see it with what happens with Bran very much. On a we see it John and his very quiet interpersonal play with Catelyn Stark, and how we see the tension and anger of 15 years just just bubbling over like a cauldron there. and of course we see it with the wedding, in a very different way, of this brutality of this world, this savage, unforgivably brutal world.
Yep.
um and that's what these early chapters do so much, is like, which you know, and I don't want to spoil anything for people at the end of this book, but I mean, there's certain things that happen at the end of this book that catch people off guard, but when you look at these chapters, you go, why did they catch any of us off guard? It's all there. This life is cheap in this world, and we see it over and over again. So um these are solid chapters. I mean, you want to hook somebody on a book, these are the chapters to do it with.
If you want to hook somebody on a book, you push a kid out a window. There,
You do.
that's the
You know,
secret.
well, you did. Now the system inoculates itself. A younger author can't repeat these steps. It
No,
worked for George R. R. Martin because very few authors were playing with this kind of fire back then. In his wake, a lot of people have tried, and the thing is, now that stratagem becomes banal because our system, fantasy fiction, whatever, storytelling in culture is like a virus. We inoculate ourselves through exposure to certain storytelling rhythms and beats. And that's why you always have to pivot and twist and come up with something different, because this has been done so much so that you're just going to go, uh-huh. No, reader now will just go, yep, yeah, push out the window, yeah, okay. Married the 13-year-old, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, they hate each other, sure, okay. Slap the kid, sure, yeah, whatever. um that's because they've seen it. The system is inoculated to this virus. You have to, but when Martin did this 25 years ago or plus, we did not have culturally a frame of reference for this.
no, it shook things up.
Yeah.
Yep. And next week when we come back and we're talking about the Fellowship of the Ring, it'll be very different.
We're gonna have that's it's really interesting. Are we gonna talk about the news now, or do you want to say that when we talk about the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings, where it's more?
No, we can go ahead and tack it on. Nobody's
Oh,
watching it
nobody's
anyway.
watching. So here's what's interesting: is they're making a movie with Colbert doing writing up there, okay, that connects to the chapters we just read.
Yeah, the ones that are missing
The ones that are missing. Now
from the movie.
they've got a framing device, it sounds like, that I'm not a big fan of, but I don't really care. It'll be fine. But it begs the question. I'm wondering if they're going to create footage that some super fan can go in and edit and make an extended edition out of Fellowship. It would be
It depends.
interesting.
We have to see how the hunt for Gollum goes.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think is going to happen. Either the hunt for Gollum is going to not be that great, or it'll be good. It'll make a lot of money, and they'll be like, "Okay, let's get this going."
If Hunt for Gollum works, we're going to see an explosion of this, but it's all going to be films that are only going to be based off what is in those 3 books and the appendices. That's it. They have no rights to anything else.
That's right. We're going to get our Sacking of the Shire, the movie.
Mm, yeah, yeah. The
Pardon me. Sorry.
I want to see what do I want to see that they cut, because this is the big one. This is other than Radagast telling Gandalf to go see Saruman, they're not gonna, and maybe they'll put that in there. Bring Radagast back. I'm a Radagast fan.
I. What is the thing? It's supposed to be like 14 years after Frodo has passed, which is
Yeah, I'm not sure
not
the
the way to put
timeline.
it.
I mean, the thing is, he went to the Undying Lands. He's not alive anymore. He's gone.
Yeah, but it's still not how they would phrase it.
Passed over
After
to the
Frodo
west.
departed, they could have
Departed.
said that.
That would have made more sense. The
The thing is, I know that Stephen Colbert actually is a big Tolkien fan.
He is.
He's talked about it multiple times.
I want to have a conversation with him, and I'm sure he watches this. So, Colbert, I want to talk to you about what I believe was the first edition of Lord of the Rings that was unpublished, and I have theories. I want to talk to you. Let's talk. Your people contact my people.
What happened? You also saw the little bit that I sent you on Twitter, right?
Yes. Oh my God, the Bakshi figures. I'm buying those.
I know
Thank
you
you.
are.
Yeah. I was so happy to see that. But we'll talk more about Lord of the Rings in our appropriate, very popular podcast.
So popular.
So popular.
Everybody watches it.
They're all wearing invisibility rings.
That's right. That's why we can't see him. Oh,
Yeah.
what's the excuse for on this side of that? There's no invisibility rings on there. They're all unhatched dragons.
Yes.
They're all secret Blackfires.
They're all shy. I got nothing for this one.
Secret Targaryens. They can't expose themselves. That's it.
We need to just. Here's what we need to do. We need to start putting the titles when you post in, like, everything wrong with such and such, and then we'll answer it's nothing, and then we move on. We answer it like, how is Game of Thrones a DEI hire? And then we start the podcast. How is it? It's not. Now moving on.
Is Brianna Tarth a DEI hire?
There we go. And there's something there to just to farcically mock that, and because I did notice that I was looking at our views on our Doctor Who podcast, and I noticed that we got like 45 views. It's like, what was the worst episode? 90 views. We doubled in viewership when we had a negative title, and you go, oh, that's why everything's awful.
Yeah, but sadly, the thing is, if you don't keep that hatred in the video, those people will click off because they're coming for.
They want it.
Somebody tell them, hey, this is bad.
Yeah, they want that confirmation bias, and that's not what we do. I think what I love about our about our Doctor Who podcast is, and this podcast, and Lord of the Rings discussion. If there's something we don't like, we talk about it. Rings of Power, we talked about it. We talked about the positives, the negatives equally, and if we didn't find things we loved about these, we wouldn't talk about them at all.
Yeah,
we don't always agree. Sometimes one of us hates something the other likes, but now we've got point and counterpoint. And that's especially when we're on our Doctor Who one with 5 of us on there. There's the views, the perspectives can be a wide range, and we shouldn't always agree. It would be so boring if we always agreed, except with the Unicorn and the Wasp, which was absolutely magical.
We all enjoy it.
We all had 8 or higher on that one,
even with the massive thorn in our side.
I'm sure Joe would have hated it. Joe, I'm going to assume Joe gave it a 2. He hated it so much he couldn't even be there. Him and Gervain, they were like, no,
he was going to Chicago. I don't know why Gervain didn't show up, but yeah.
Isn't he already in Chicago? I think Gervain's in Chicago, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
Detroit.
But no, it was Joe who's going to Chicago.
Yeah, to the convention.
We should wrap this up, though.
Sorry.
Good book.
Just start chatting.
I know. Good book. I like this Game of Thrones. I think we'll keep going with it.
I think this book may go somewhere. I think that this guy should keep writing.
I wish he would. I wish he would keep writing. Yes, you're right. You should keep writing. Absolutely,
fair point.
Landry.
Fair point. Well, on that note, sorry, goodbye, George.
Please hire this guy again. Don't blame me.